Imagine finally getting the keys to your dream home. Champagne, photos, the whole thing. Now imagine that same house quietly owning you for the next 30 years, eating your bonuses, your holidays, your ability to ever change jobs. That's not a horror story. That's the actual experience of hundreds of thousands of Australians right now. Today, we're breaking down the $1 million mortgage trap, how a dream purchase turns into a financial cage, and how to spot it before you sign. It rarely looks dramatic. It looks like a couple on solid, above-average incomes who stretched to buy at $1.2 million because the bank said they could. Repayments were fine when rates were 5%. Then rates moved, and suddenly a third of their take-home pay was gone before groceries, before petrol, before anything else. Nobody defaults dramatically. They just quietly stop living the life they thought home ownership would give them. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your bank's idea of what you can afford and your idea of a life worth living are not the same calculation. Lenders assess your capacity to service a loan under stress-tested rates, not your ability to still afford a holiday, a car replacement, or an emergency. Just because you're approved for $1 million doesn't mean $1 million is a good idea. Approval is a ceiling, not a recommendation. The mortgage repayment is just the headline number. Stamp duty, council rates, building insurance, maintenance, strata fees if you're in an apartment. These can easily add another $10,000, $15,000 a year that never shows up in the "can I afford this" conversation at the bank. Buyers budget for the loan. They rarely budget for owning the house. This is the part nobody talks about. When your mortgage eats 50% of your income, everything else has to shrink. The dinners out, the trips, the ability to say yes to a lower-paying job you'd actually enjoy. Financial advisors call this house poor, and it's one of the most common regrets among Australian homeowners in the last 5 years. Technically wealthy on paper, stressed and cash-strapped in real life. Every extra $100,000 borrowed isn't just extra repayments. It's $100,000 that isn't going into super, shares, or an emergency fund. Buyers who stretch to the absolute limit on a house often end up asset-rich and cash-poor for a decade or more, missing out on compounding growth elsewhere because every spare dollar is going straight to the bank. The fix isn't, don't buy a house. It's buying with a buffer, not a stretch. A rough rule worth considering: keep total housing costs under 30% of take-home pay, stress test your budget at 2 to 3% higher than current rates, and always price in maintenance and rate rises before you fall in love with a suburb. The best mortgage isn't the biggest one you're approved for. It's the one that still lets you live your life. The $1 million mortgage trap isn't about the number on the loan. It's about what you give up to service it. A house should fund your life, not replace it. Before you sign anything, run the numbers at higher rates, budget the hidden costs, and ask yourself honestly what you're willing to sacrifice for the address. Next episode, we're going deeper into how banks actually make their money off you. And it's not just interest. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it, and let us know in the comments. Did you stretch for your home or play it safe?